there's one thing to know about me, is that I'm a gamer. And in 2025, I played a lot of JRPGs. Some games were masterpieces, and some were a bit questionable. So today, I'm ranking every JRPG I've played in 2025. Now jumping right into it, the first JRPG I played in 2025 was Shin Megami Tensei V. Now this was my first experience with the Shin Megami Tensei game. I do enjoy the combat a lot in Persona 4 and Persona 5, so I knew I was going to probably enjoy this. And if you like monster collecting games like Pokemon, Shin Megami Tensei V is the perfect evolution of that. I really enjoyed the OST, the gameplay, the creature collecting, the build varieties. There's so much good to say about SMTV, and I really enjoy my time with it. Now the only reason it won't be going in triple S tier is it had some rough edges to it. Specifically, it looked like the Switch game with the open dunes and the empty plains. So I will be giving it an S tier today. It's a good JRPG and a good monster collecting game if you enjoy that. The next game I played in 2025 was Trails of Cold Steel 1. Now, as not a lot happens in this game and it's a lot more safe and school sim life like, I will be giving a B tier. And as my first overall impression, I gave it a 75% out of 100, which means it's about a B tier game. The next game I played in 2025 was Trails of Cold Steel 2. Now, I've shared my opinion recently on how I didn't really enjoy Cold Steel 2, but that was after my second playthrough. My first playthrough, I did enjoy it quite a bit. So if I take the average of I enjoyed it a lot my first playthrough and I didn't really enjoy it on my second playthrough, Cold Steel 2 is a solid A tier. A lot more happens in this game and it has a lot more action, even though it does have some downsides. The next game I played, to no surprise, is Cold Steel 3. Now, I enjoyed the shit out of Cold Steel 3. I know some people don't enjoy it. They think it's just another Cold Steel 1 reskin. They think it's just another starting game. But I think Cold Steel 3 did a lot right. And I actually have a video coming out soon on why Cold Steel 3 is one of the greatest Trails games. So for that reason, I'm putting it in S tier. Next, we have Trails of Cold Steel 4. Now, this game's interesting. Now, this is an epic game, and I did rate it quite highly on my first playthrough, but it does have a lot of power of friendship, and it does have a lot of issues. You know what? It's actually very similar to Cold Steel 2, so we're gonna put it in A tier, because it's just not as good as Cold Steel 3 or SMT5. Now, I could go into depth about the Trails games, but I've already ranked them before, so I'd rather go a bit faster on them here. Next up, I played Trails into Reverie, the next Trails game. Now, I don't think there's anywhere I could put Trails into Reverie except for triple S tier. It is the best Trails game. It's the culmination of like the 9 games before it. And yeah, it was one of the best JRPGs I played this year. If you really want to get into Trails, you'll eventually get to Reverie, and the build-up's worth it. It does a lot right. It has a great gameplay, a great party system. It has like 51 playable characters. It's like the Avengers of the Trails series. It deserves triple S tier, and that's where it's going to be staying. The next JRPG I played was Trails Through Daybreak, and I really enjoyed Trails Through Daybreak. It's a nice standalone Trails game. You don't really need to have played everything before it. And I personally really enjoyed the battle system. I really enjoy JRPGs that let you move around freely in the circle. Yakuza Infinite Wealth did it. Daybreak did it. So for that reason, only that reason, it deserves S tier. Now, coming in only 10 days later, instead of playing Daybreak 2, since I didn't own it at the time, I replayed Trails in the Sky III. Now, Trails in the Sky III does get some flack from the community. People say they don't want to play it. They say it's not a great Trails game. But here is my hot take, triple S tier. Trails in the Sky III is one of the greatest Trails games, right up there with Reverie. It's perfect. It's literally perfect. There's not much flaws when it comes to Trails in the Sky III, and for that reason, it has to be triple S tier, one of the best JRPGs I played this year. The next JRPG I would play would be on March 20th, and it would be Trails into Reverie again. Yes, I know, I have a problem with Trails. Now Reverie is going to be staying in triple S tier, as my replay of it was great. It was just as good as I remember, so for that reason, Trails in Reverie will be staying in triple S tier. The same can't be said for our next entry, Trails Through Daybreak II. We finally have our first game that's going into C tier. Now, for those of you who don't know, Trails Through Daybreak 2 was a rushed game that was released 1 year early, and it definitely showed. The story was kind of chopped. The gameplay was fun, but that's all there is to really say about it. The gameplay was fun, and that's it. Everything else was chopped. Everything else was bad. C tier for Trails through Daybreak II. Next up, I decided to replay Trails of Cold Steel 1, and it ended up staying right where it belongs in B tier. It's a very B tier game. It won't be going any lower, it won't be going any higher, and that's it. Only 3 days later after that, I replayed Trails from Zero. Here's my hot take. My first playthrough of Trails from Zero, I originally put it in C tier. I know. I didn't like Crossbow that much. But my second playthrough of Zero really showed me what the game could be, and I actually enjoyed it a lot more. And for that reason, it's a B tier game. Now here might be my most controversial one yet. I replayed Trails of Cold Steel 2, and I realized Trails of Cold Steel 2 has a lot of flaws, so it moved down a tier to B tier. Then I realized Trails of Cold Steel 2 has a lot of flaws, and it's actually more like a C tier game. But then I realized that Trails of Cold Steel 2 is just not a great Trails game. It's D tier, guys. It's just D tier. Let's accept it. We're moving on already. My next one I replayed was Trails of Cold Steel 3, and it stayed in S tier because Trails of Cold Steel 3 is just an S tier game. I'm not explaining it anymore. The next game I played on April 25th was Ys 1. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the very old JRPGs. Like Final Fantasy 5 and 6 are great. Final Fantasy 1, not the greatest. And Ys 1, same situation, not the greatest. It was okay. Ys 1's B tier and Ys 2 is C tier. That's how we're leaving it. I had a rough time with Ys 2. I didn't really enjoy it that much, and I think Ys 1 was just the better game. But both of them weren't as good as the next JRPG I played this year, and that was replaying Trails to Azure. Now, Trails to Azure is the sequel to Trails from Zero, and again, on my second playthrough, I really was able to kind of absorb it better, and I moved it up to A tier. And again, like I said, I don't want to get too much into the Trails games or too much Trails glaze, so we'll just put it in A tier and move on. And the next JRPG I played was Ys Origin. Now, I really like Ys Origin. I think it was probably the best Ys game I played. And for that reason, Ys Origin is going into A tier. I really enjoyed the puzzles, the boss fights, the mechanics, the climbing the tower. Almost everything about Ys Origin was just perfect. Like, even the graphics. I love the Trails in the Sky graphics, and I love the combat. Next, continuing my Ys journey, I played Memories of Celceta. Ys of Celceta is pretty interesting, because I really enjoyed the beginning and the first half of the game. Your only goal was to explore a forest, and I really enjoyed that sense of exploration. It was a fun game. The combat was good, the cutscenes were pretty alright, and the dialogue was pretty good. The one weakness I'd have to say with Ys of Celceta is the ending. It was super rushed, pretty bad, and I just didn't really care for it. Low B tier for Ys of Celceta. It just has to be down there. The next game on May 20th was Ys the Oath of Felghana. Now, the Oath of Felghana is a special game. I know everybody loves it. It's well loved within the community. People really appreciate it, but I just really didn't. It was hard. It was too hard. Yes, I got the achievement for playing on very easy because I played on very easy. The Oath of Felghana, for some reason, whether it was the parkour elements or just the boss fights, it was way harder than any of the Ys games I played before it. And overall, I just didn't really have a fun experience with Oath of Felghana. It's gonna be a C tier game. But the next game I played in 2025 was pure cinema. It was Kai no Kiseki, Trails Beyond the Horizon. Now, this is the newest game in the Trails series, and it is one of the grandest when it came towards the end of the game, but not really the first half of the game. The first half of the game would give it a B tier, whereas the second half of the game and maybe Reen's route and Kevin's route moves it up to an A or S tier. We'll put it in high A tier, just because it was kind of weak at certain part, especially Van's route, but everything else was great, so we'll put it in A tier. But the next JRPG I played was Kingdom Hearts 1. Now, I actually purchased the full Kingdom Hearts collection, 1 to 3, with all the side games as well, and my goal was to play them all this year. Now, of course, that didn't happen, and I only played Kingdom Hearts 1 because it just didn't fully click with me. I do like Disney, but I'm not really a Disney adult. I don't really care for all the Disney IPs, so some of the Kingdom Hearts levels were quite slow, like Aladdin and Tarzan. Those sections were quite slow in the game for me. And overall, it was fun, but it wasn't perfect. And I think Kingdom Hearts 2 is going to be a lot better, and I have started it. But today, unfortunately, I will be putting Kingdom Hearts 1 in a low B tier. It is what it is. Next, passing over Space Marine 2, we have on June 5th, Xenogears. And my goal here was to play through all the Xeno games. So I started with the first one, Xenogears. Now this one I emulated on PC, like most other people do, and it was cinema. It was great. This is an S tier game. This is probably top of S tier. I understand how Xenogears has this reputation. I personally have a huge thing for mech anime. I love Eva, all those anime. So when it came to Xenogears, it was just right up my alley. The mechs were great, the story was great, it was deep, it was psychological, it was philosophical, it was so good. It really checked all those boxes to really feel like perfect 90s anime aesthetic. And for that reason, it's going to be an S tier. The combat was a bit different. The whole combos, it got a bit old and it got a bit stale. So the combat isn't the reason it's an S tier. It's more the story, the overall vibes, and the overall pacing that really puts it in S tier for me. Next, we played a bit of Yakuza, and then on June 13th, we played Metaphor. Now, I can't put Metaphor anywhere below S tier because Metaphor is a great game. I like Atlas IPs, I enjoy them, and Metaphor is just another great Atlas IP. Now, my hot take of the day is I enjoyed SMT5 more than Metaphor, so I won't be putting Metaphor above SMT5. I think SMT5 has better gameplay, better music, better vibe. Overall, I think SMT5 is just a better game, whereas Metaphor is the better story. But the next game I played was a replay of Final Fantasy XVI. Now this replay was of course to get 100% in the game, so it was a replay on Final Fantasy mode. Now Final Fantasy mode does suck. Enemies are super spongy, super tanky, and take a long time to kill. So that did bring down my experience of Final Fantasy XVI. If this was my first experience, I gave it an S tier originally. So for my replay, I will be giving it an A tier. Next, I played a bit of Death Stranding 2, and a month after that, was Xenosaga Episode 1. It was finally time to continue my Xeno journey, and next was Xenosaga I. Now Xenosaga, just like Xenogears, was an awesome game. It was S tier, 100% S tier. Just the overall story, the grand scheme of the game, it was just so much. It was so good. I enjoyed the gameplay even if it did bring back the stupid combos that got a bit boring. And I do think it was one of the greatest JRPGs of its time. It was awesome. S tier game. Next, I would play Xenosaga II. Now, Xenosaga II was a stinker. We're putting it in C tier. Xenosaga II had nothing going for it. The story was kind of bad. The gameplay was kind of bad. What did they do to my characters? The character designs were chopped. It was a rough game. Yeah, sorry Xenosaga 2 fans. I was not vibing with it. It felt like a massive downgrade from Xenosaga 1. And it felt like a chore. Thankfully, I took a break to play Alan Wake 2, I washed up my palette, and I came back to play Xenosaga 3. Now, Xenosaga 3 has a lot of good things going for it. The gameplay was at its peak now. It was just a pure turn-based game, but in space. But it didn't have the tight pacing like Xenosaga 1. Xenosaga 1 just had me hooked with the story, and no other Xenosaga game was able to do that since. However, since Xenosaga 1 had the best scale and the best gameplay, we will be putting it in S tier today, right behind SMT5. Finally, the second last JRPG I played in 2025 was Ys 8. Now, this whole thing is going to be a bit interesting. Ys 8 I played with my friend. We used the co-op mod and we actually played it 2-player together. This brought my rating down a lot because we were goofing around, speeding through the game. It was very easy with 2 players. It was very buggy with 2 players, and it wasn't the intended way to play the game. So through no fault of its own, unfortunately, Ys 8 is going to be a C-tier Ys game. It was just pretty bad. Ys Origin cleared it in every aspect. And finally, the last JRPG I played in 2025 was the Trails in the Sky First remake. Now, I only played Trails in the Sky FC at the end of 2024, so it hadn't even been a full year yet before I played Trails in the Sky First. And honestly, while the gameplay was great and the new cutscenes were great and everything about the game was great, I just wasn't ready to play another Trails game. SC is just miles ahead of FC, and when it came to this remake, just not much happens in the story, so I wasn't that interested in it. I think the OG is the better game, guys. It's a B tier title. I'm personally really looking forward to SC. I think SC could be a triple S game, but I was never really a huge FC fan, so it makes sense that the Sky First first remake would be a B tier game for me. This was me ranking all the JRPGs I played in 2025, and this is the final rankings. Hopefully we can do this next year with even more JRPGs. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed. This was Ethanime. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one.